What's up, guys? It's Shawn Myszka, the Movement Miyagi, coming to you once again on behalf of this short installment series where I ask former or current players of mine, those that I've partnered with over the years, if they could go back in time, what type of lesson would they teach their younger self, or what lesson do they wish they would have been able to learn or grasp onto earlier? And today's a fun one, particularly when we think about solving movement problems on the field in a more functional, more skillful, more dexterous way. It comes from an individual who played in the National Football League for 8 years, was a very, very highly respected player, and in my 145 players, one of the hardest working players, bar none, that I've ever had in our learning and training environment. Someone who is extraordinarily intentional, took everything to heart, and did everything right by the book. And when I say by the book, I mean doing right by the people in the learning environment, the people he was sparring against, the people he was going against, his teammates, for the betterment of his team on a higher level, always thinking about super stand-up guy. And I'm excited then to bring this message to you from him. Again, 8-year National Football League vet. The first thing he said when I asked him the question, and I'm pulling it up on my phone here, I said to meet me sooner, which I appreciate that. But he goes on to give another lesson there, because that's not actually the lesson at heart, but this one is. He said the biggest lesson would be understanding that great effort, tremendous effort, has to be directed by even better, greater, more tremendous intention. I want you to think about that again. Great effort has to be directed by even greater intention. He quotes Abraham Lincoln in saying that, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first four sharpening the axe." But early in his career, he was a guy who went straight to chopping down the tree. He went straight to work, dug his heels in, dug the hole over and over and over and over again, doing things that other people weren't willing to do. He didn't know how to sharpen the axe, so to say. So he knew and recognized at a certain point there that longevity was going to be an issue. And of course, he came onto some of the work that I do through the referral of another player. So a player who was a teammate of his, and he followed the model set by this respected player who he also respected, and another super hardworking guy, very dedicated, very intentional player in our learning environment also. This individual goes on to say, and this is something that I really want to lean into, surrounding himself with the right people directed his intention behind his effort. So he started to become extremely intentional with doing the little things that would have big results because he trusted in those people that he was around. He brings up examples like focusing on small things like how your foot is striking the ground, or positioning the body in different ways to be able to maximize efficiency or effectiveness, or where, for example, to train the eyes to pick up information within the problem, to being able to read and recognize the smallest details of the behaviors of one's opponent. So he were to be able to react and respond in an open way, an adaptable way to multiple opponents. These are all examples he was bringing to life. And he goes on to say that to me was truly the wax on, wax off process, directed by the very clear intention of becoming better at solving on field movement problems so I could be the most effective player for my team. And that truly embodies how this player lived and breathed in all 8 of our seasons working together, which was each one of his NFL seasons as well, across the course of his career. And it's a player and a human, even more so, that I respect at a very, very high level. His last advice to himself and then to you all was, again, that great effort without great intention leads to toil. Great intention without great effort leads to regret. Great effort with great intention will lead and can lead to mastery. And mastery in and of itself becomes a team sport or endeavor. Really cool stuff, really cool message, and I hope you take it to heart. Again, the biggest thing, great effort has to be directed by even greater intention. That's something that each and every player on their developmental journey needs to live and breathe and own. They need to take it upon themselves. That intentional effort, surrounding yourself with the right people. Hopefully, you have those types of people in your corner. If you have thoughts, questions, ideas, you want to DM me, see what it looks like to potentially have me mentor you in that type of process. I'm certainly all ears, and I'm more than willing to have a conversation with you about your individualized, personalized situation. But this message, this lesson, guys, is something that I hope more of you take to heart and live and breathe on the daily because your craft will be better for it. So for Shawn Myszka, the Movement Miyagi, this has been another installment of What Lesson Do You Wish You Would Have Learned Later? Kind of players only series. I'll talk to you all next time.